name's Brianna. For my article that I'll be focusing on, it's titled Louisiana Lawmakers Consider Making It Easier to Sentence More Minors to Adult Prisons. This was published on November 8th, 2024, and it's regarding legislation in the works in Louisiana. So this past Thursday, the Louisiana Senate's Judiciary C Committee voted 4-1 in favor of a state constitutional amendment to remove limitations on the number of crimes for which youth under the age of 17 could be sentenced as if they are adults. So this Senate Bill 2 would allow legislators to craft new laws that expand the country's ability to send minors from the ages 14, 15, and 16 to adult prisons. So this law has obviously, this amendment would still need to be further approved by the House of Representatives and Senate, and then get voted on by Louisiana, the people of Louisiana, to see whether or not it can go into law. But it's still raising some concerns by advocacy groups in Louisiana due to this new amendment. So as of right now, earlier in the year, there was a legislation and a law that was passed that actually allowed 17-year-olds to be tried in adult courts and prisons. So they're automatically sent into adult courts and prisons at the age of 17. So this would allow for more juveniles to be pushed into adult courts. So as of right now, in order to get pushed into adult court, it's limited to a list of crimes, which includes, murder, attempted murder, manslaughter, rape, etc. Just very violent crime. But this new amendment would basically strike that entire list and change the wording to any crime. So it would make it a lot easier for, juveniles ages 14, 15, 16 to get pushed into adult prison sentences. So it is pretty concerning, just because they already passed legislation that pushes 17-year-olds straight into adult prisons, and now it's looking to push even younger youth into adult prisons. So this kind of relates back to, Chapter 13, as we were discussing, the differences between the juvenile justice centers compared to, the adult prisons when juveniles enter adult prisons. So juvenile centers are a little bit more about rehabilitation and educational opportunity. And they provide these types of opportunities in order to reduce recidivism and to reduce the likelihood of having long-term offenders. This is compared to, juveniles that go into adult prisons instead, where they don't have, as many educational opportunities. Sometimes they don't have any. And rehabilitative opportunities are very limited in adult prisons for juveniles. So it's a lot more about the punishment compared to, rehabilitating the offender. Compared to, obviously the juvenile justice system, where it's more about rehabilitating the offender and preparing them for release after their sentence. So this, amendment has sparked, a lot of interest in these advocacy groups for children in Louisiana, because rather than focusing on rehabilitating the youth, it's more so punishment-based and about, putting them straight into prisons for the crimes that they've committed, even if it's not considered a more violent crime or more serious crime. And, in this chapter, we also, talked about the, other abuses that, juveniles face in adult prisons just because of their age and vulnerability. So they become targets for abuse from adults in these prisons. So it just creates, a very toxic situation altogether, very scary and hurtful situation for youth that are in these adult prisons. So it's still something to, keep an eye on over the next year, seeing how it progresses and to see if it actually gets passed. But if it does, it will be very detrimental to the youth that are in Louisiana. So it's just something to look out for in the next, year to come. to see if it gets passed.